Hello, hello, hello. This is Hannah, evolutionary astrologer, and today I want to talk about Mercury retrograde. It's actually one of my very favorite topics to talk about because there are so many misconceptions about poor Mercury retrograde. It gets so much hate. Whenever we're about to have a Mercury retrograde in the sky, it gets so much hate, poor thing. There's this like doom and gloom about it. Like, oh no, Mercury's retrograde or it's about to turn retrograde. And no one is saying, woohoo, Mercury's about to go retrograde. Yes. It's more like, not this again. So what I want to do is try to reframe some of this for you because Mercury is not out there to get you. I promise you. It does not want to ruin your life. So I am hoping that by the end of this video, you're going to look at this astrological transit a little bit differently. Okay. And yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to reframe the way you think about Mercury retrograde, which is exactly what the retrograde is about. It is about reframing the way we think. So it happens, a Mercury retrograde happens quite often, around 3 to 4 times a year, and it stays in that, retrograde motion for around 3 weeks. It carries such a deep and important message. It's saying, especially because Mercury is the messenger, the it was, it had these like winged sandals and it would travel from in the Greek mythology, it was the messenger of the gods. So it would travel from Mount Olympus, is where the gods lived. It would travel to the mortal world, our realm, and it would deliver the messages to the humans, from the gods to the humans. And then it would actually also travel to the underworld, you know, where the dead lived. So he traveled everywhere. He was the errand boy. So he's a great messenger, and through Mercury, we receive the messages. We receive the important messages. So when it's retrograde, it's saying, hey, we have to rethink about things. We have to reflect, we have to reassess, we have to reevaluate, we have to reframe the way we think. Because the way we think is so essential, so important because thoughts create world. Our mind is so, so, so powerful. So that is the deeper meaning of Mercury retrograde. And just and what is it? When we say that it's retrograding, what does that mean to begin with? So imagine that Mercury is orbiting around the sun, right? But because of the position here on the Earth in relationship to Mercury, it looks like, you hear that, it looks like it starts to move backwards, but it's not really. It's an optical illusion. But from our perspective here on Earth, it looks like it's moving backwards. So it's like it starts to moonwalk. So imagine the symbolism of that. It's saying before you keep moving forward, take a look at the ground that you've covered, you know? So that's the point. Um, it's saying like, wait a minute, don't keep going forward just yet. It's in your best interest to take a second look and to revisit and to reevaluate those particular themes and things in your life. So whatever shows up in your life during the retrograde, those are the things that are in your highest benefit to take that second look at because maybe something is missing, maybe something's not fully there yet, maybe something needs to be dealt with, reevaluated, reflected upon, unfinished business. So this is the part in the conversation that you hear quite often that there's going to be old boyfriends and partners and friends and people from the past kind of resurfacing and coming back again. But the message is not saying like, hey, you got to get back together or you got to rekindle the friendship. Maybe it is. Maybe, it's going to depend on the context. But the deeper message is, hey, we forgot something here. Maybe you forgot to talk about something. Maybe we need to realign something. Maybe there's something of that unfinished business nature that, we could, take a look. So maybe it's simply, one thing, maybe it's simply about reflecting upon all the ground you've covered since, for example, since you were in a relationship with that person, or since you're friends with that person, or since you work together. Like, wow, look at how much I've grown. Look at how much I've done. Look at how much I've learned. So again, this happens 3 to 4 times a year, and we get this message from the cosmos saying, reorganize things in your life before you keep moving forward. So whatever shows up, it's important. And here's another key phrase for the retrograde. How can I look at this from a different perspective? How can I look at this from a different point of view, from a different standpoint, and with different eyes? So it's actually an opportunity, right? And it's such a different way of looking at the retrograde. Instead of thinking, oh no, it's about to come and it's going to ruin my life. But it's instead of saying that, what if we could say, okay, there's a door of opportunity opening up during these weeks where I can really consciously, look for a different perspective on important things in my life. It's a great time to tie loose ends. If there's something you've been procrastinating on or, delaying, this is such a great time to get going, and consciously reorganize your life. I like to think of like we all have that messy drawer, the things that we keep putting in there, and then it becomes a mess. During the retrograde, we can open that drawer, clean things up. Um, so especially because Mercury talks about how we do our daily lives, how we organize our lives, our routine, our schedules, our work. So again, you can take a second look at all of those things and bring up new ideas and fix the problems. So maybe it's something about my schedule that I need to change. Maybe it's something about work, about my work. Maybe it's I need to eat better. Maybe I need to exercise more. During the retrograde, we come up with the plan, right? Okay, I know what I have to do now. It's clear. Now, let me get to it. So, anything that needs reviewing, Mercury retrograde is the time to consciously do that. And sometimes sometimes you'll know exactly what it is. And other times life is going to show you. It's like, oh, look at this. This is a mess. Take care of it. And the other thing about Mercury retrograde is that it's an amazing time to find solutions for problems. So instead of complaining, what if you could use that time to find solutions for old problems? The other thing is that Mercury rules communication, transportation. So we can feel, during that period, we can feel that our communication is not as strong. Sometimes we send the wrong text or the wrong email, or more, there can be more grammar mistakes, or sometimes you feel like your words are just not coming out. There's like slurred words, you're trying to say something, but you can't make sense of it. So this is also an opportunity for kindness. Be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Laugh at yourself. It's another message here that says, don't take life so seriously. It's okay. Maybe it's an opportunity to help others, to serve others, to accept more the mistakes of others as well, and to say, hey, it's not a big deal. Let me help you. Let's fix this together. We can also, there can be more cancellations and, meetings and plans, people canceling on you, you're canceling on other people, things are being postponed. Mercury is also travel and mobility, so there can be delays and cancellations, that frustration side of it, like, and a little chaotic and a little annoying. When you miss your, when you, your flight gets delayed and you have all these, you have to wait for so many hours and you go to the airport or you go to your doctor's appointment, but you realize you're like, it's tomorrow or it was yesterday, it's not today. So all these things can happen, but what is the gift? Is there a gift lying in wait that maybe you won't see it right away? And I'll give you a personal example. I had this huge travel delay during a Mercury retrograde. It was an international flight. I was waiting for, I believe, 7 or 8 hours. It was terrible. It was awful. And I knew it was a retrograde. I was like, oh, great. But I looked for the gift. So what I ended up finding out was that I could actually get reimbursed for, travel delays. So during the retrograde, I looked for it. I went online, I did my research, and I ended up later on receiving almost $1,500 just because of that specific um, you know, delay. So, and that I ended up using that money for, different trips. So it was really great. And it happened exactly during the retrograde. So when things get disrupted, chaotic, maybe there's cancellations, of course we're going to complain. Of course we're going to feel more annoyed and frustrated. But remember the beauty and the opportunity of the Mercury retrograde, which is think differently. Is there a gift lying in wait here for me? Is there an opportunity to use this, for example, this extra time to do something, unexpected, something out of my plan? Maybe you're going to connect with a friend. Maybe you're going to start maybe writing the book that you've been wanting to write. It's like, oh my God, I had these extra hours. Like, I'm getting redirected for what? That's the question. So, and that's the last thing I want to say is that, and this is something that you don't hear very often when we have this transit, is that Mercury retrograde carries so much creativity. It's a time to think outside the box. It's a creative time. So it's a time to find solutions for things we've been struggling with. It's a time to think outside the box. It's a time to access places in your mind that you haven't before. So anything that's outside the box, anything that's out of your comfort zone, anything that can change your routine can be really successful. So just a few suggestions is do the things that you don't normally do. Try new things. Explore different avenues. So if you have the same, I don't know, eggs with toast every day for breakfast, then you start having salmon and cheese. If you always travel to Florida for, for your vacations, like go to the West Coast, explore a different part of the country. If you read books, if you like the physical books during the retrograde, try an audiobook. So again, consciously bring newness to your life, do new things, implement new things to your routine. Okay. And it's great for insight. It's great for realizing and, accessing these parts of your mind that you don't usually use. So reflection is so powerful. Paying attention to what's showing up, the signs, what people are saying to you. Remember, Mercury is the messenger. So where are the messages? Be extra, um, you know, extra, more attention to everything. And also revisit old projects, things that you haven't done in a while. Maybe it's hobbies, maybe it's something that you started but didn't finish. Such an awesome time for that. I hope you found this helpful. And like I said, it happens 3 to 4 times a year. So instead of fighting it and dreading it, work with it, use it to your advantage. And if you like this video, give me press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.